Hi guys, I'm Praveer, and yes, we have the very amazing Shashwat Bulusu with us today, and so happy to have you here, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing me here. I'm really glad to have this experience with you guys.
And मुझे ये बात mention करनी पड़ेगी that he's actually on an all India tour, and he's just kind of fitted this interview in between his tour. So thank you very much for doing that for us, bro.
Thanks for accommodating this in between the tour.
But that's great, man. I mean, what do I say and where do I start? Because मैं तुम्हारा म्यूजिक सुन रहा था, आज सुबह भी सुन रहा था, and I was like, dude, ये बंदा he's a young guy with an old soul of a singer songwriter and musician inside him. Do you want to tell us about your music? Like, how did the idea come from? Creating songs like Aabad and Charkha.
Yeah.
The music production, the entire approach of the music is
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
Very Hindustani classical and very minimalistic approach,
Yeah.
as we were speaking before. So you want to tell us about that?
So the songs are basically, if I look at just song writing in Hindi, I was always writing in Hindi because that's the language that we all have grown up speaking in, and it's natural to speak in that. And then eventually, like, I started just honing my craft over the years with like just getting the right set of words without being too fancy around it. And like when I figured out that okay, you can say a lot of really important things in Hindi without being fancy around it. That's minimalism in the first place. And then like you just slowly start, like with the music also, it just became like that, where I wanted what is being said, the lyrics, to take the most importance.
Right.
Because if you listen to my English songs, they're more arrangement heavy, where it's more like okay, it's the entirety of the song where like every instrument has like a role to play. Over here it was literally the lyrics and the vocals came way before anything else. So the music had to sort of literally just take a step back and like it's sort of just like a pedestal for the vocals to
Shine.
and for it to just stand out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And although Charkha and Aabad are very different songs in entity wise, but I also like. I mean, I read somewhere that you recorded Charkha in the morning and Aabad in the night.
Yeah.
What is that all about? Like,
So more than
yin yang thing. What is it?
It's literally, it happened upon chance. It wasn't like this is my artistic process to make this happen. Like none of that happened. It was literally, I actually even before recording or writing, I was, you know how you have these weird thoughts that before sleeping off, or like in the morning, like you have like one thought every morning, you think about the same thing. So it was just sort of the melodies for these songs. Like Aabad was a melody that used to go on in my head before sleeping, like in bed. And Charkha was that in the morning. So I was just like, it took me a while to realize that I'm doing this. So then once I realized that okay, I'm doing this weird thing of like trying, like humming the same thing over and over again. So I was like, okay, if I'm thinking that, then I should flesh out the entire song. पूरा गाना वही time पे flesh out करने की कोशिश करता हूँ. So for the next few months, it was literally just spending time in my head before sleeping, trying to put together a song. And like similarly in the morning, like नहाते वक्त हम सबको गाने की
सबसे ज़्यादा ideas नहाते वक्त
हाँ,
आते हैं.
तो बस तो उसी टाइम पे वही वो गाना लिखते गया. And just happened to be that कि आवाज़ रात को हो रहा था, तो फिर वो रात को ही फील ज़्यादा आ रही थी रिकॉर्ड करने की.
अच्छा.
तो वो प्रोसेस, like it just happened to be like I got comfort, like I got the comfort during night to perform Aabad. Also because it was like rather quiet and I was at my home at that point, so I didn't have my studio set up, so you have to have like complete silence to record vocals.
Yeah.
So it was a night became the time for that. And Charkha was just like a morning song, although like it has like a very intimate feel to it. But by the time I got to recording Charkha, my studio was available to me, so it happened during the day. But it was just like the construction of the song happened, like of the songs happened in these two specific periods, just by virtue of me thinking about them in that time.
But I have to say this, that when I was listening to Charkha, specifically Charkha, I mean, I could feel that somebody's sitting right in front of me and singing that song, because you can actually hear the slide of the chord change and the guitar and everything. You can listen and you can feel all of that. And I'm pretty sure that you kept it purposely. You could have very well filtered it, very well produced it, but you thought कि नहीं यार इसको रखते हैं.
Yeah, it was so the whole process of when I was recording चरखा, तो वो चरखा का ऐसा था कि वो performance गिटार अगर नहीं होगा तो performance थोड़ा disassociate हो जाता है उससे. तो अब उसके साथ करना था and मैं काफ़ी lazy feel कर रहा था. Like when you're normally if you're recording like guitar and vocals, you do like a multiple mic setup. I had one mic which was already set up from the night before. I was like, I have one mic, so let me just perform the song into this and then I'll see if I want to re-record or something.
Right.
फिर अब वही हो गया कि वो like it was literally now because you have one mic and it's like everything's performed together. नहीं तो like commercially देखने जाओ तो एक एक करके record किया जाता है. गिटार अलग होता है, vocals अलग होता है. अब ये एक ही माइक है. मेरे को आई एम फीलिंग लेजी बट ऑल्सो लाइक द फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर इज दैट इट्स लाइक बोथ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स लाइक द वोकल एंड द गिटार हैव टू कम टुगेदर. तो बस वो एक परफॉर्मेंस देना है. अब वो परफॉर्मेंस में जो कैप्चर हो रहा है विथ ऑल ऑफ इट्स लाइक स्मॉल एरर्स or things like that, all of that is character.
But that error is not error really. I think that's the beauty of, I think, a song, that you know sometimes the not so perfect things are
that's what make them human.
Absolutely.
Like वही थोड़ा वो जो distance हमें feel होता है कभी कभार कुछ गानों से कि we really like the lyrics have to then really pull you into the song.
Yeah.
But like a good performance, like regardless of any of those errors, वो उसको वो human feel दे देता है. Like as you said कि वो वहाँ पे बैठ के बजा रहे हो.
So have you used just one mic for that performance? Wow, that is so interesting. For the guitars and for your vocals.
Yeah.
That is amazing, dude. That is such a good insight.
If you actually listen to the song carefully, there is you can actually hear in dead silence you can hear a mobile notification also.
Really? Are you serious? I'm going to listen to it more carefully now. Wow, but that's such a great insight of, you know, a music producer, especially in this day and age where everything is so being garnished all the time and served on your platter to be consumed in a certain way. So I'm very happy that you have that sort of thought process.
Thank you so much.
Right. So you're like we just mentioned in the beginning that you are on your India tour. Tell me, how has the experience been so far? How many cities have you traveled and what are your other cities that are going to be traveling and performing?
So we just finished the Gujarat leg of the tour. We did Surat, Ahmedabad and Baroda.
That is like your home ground, right?
That's home turf. It's basically जिन लोगों ने सालों से सुना उनको दोबारा सुना रहा है.
Right.
But like Ahmedabad and Baroda, we did like band shows.
Okay.
And it was sort of putting together like the entirety of the set for the tour is about like 75 to 90 minutes of performance and storytelling with each song. So like the band, it sort of just elevates that storytelling.
So just for people who haven't been to your gig and who are planning to go and watch you perform live, Shashwat का जो live show देखना चाहते हैं, can you just explain what your band setup is like?
So normally if I'm traveling with my band, it has Uday Bhardwaj on the guitars, Jyotirmay Menon who plays the drums, and Shrujal Patel who plays the bass. It's the four of us.
Okay.
And it's very in the moment. It's very intimate. When it gets loud also, it's with the intention that the audience also feels like okay, they're in a jam room with us.
Right.
So that is the environment of that. But now this time, like now this next leg which starts in Mumbai today, is the solo leg, where it's going to be more storytelling based, where each song, it's like we're trying to sort of bring together a little bit of, you know, that old theatre monologue style performances.
Yes.
That and my songs together, we're trying to sort of construct that on this tour, and hopefully we get like we're able to perfect that format soon enough.
That is quite interesting. That the storytelling bit is going to be quite interesting. So people in Mumbai, if you guys are listening this and watching this, guys, please go and check his performance out. All right. A lot of people did not know this. I did not know this until I was being asked told by my producer that you've been releasing music since 2011. Like how old were you back then, man?
2011, I think I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 15. Yeah.
So tell me about that. How so early beginning?
It was just like I just had मेरे को बस कीड़ा था गाने लिखने.
Okay.
And
लिखने का था, गाने का था या म्यूजिशियन बनने का था? कौन सा कीड़ा सबसे ज़्यादा?
मतलब म्यूजिशियन बनना तो बचपन से था, बिकॉज तबला सीखता था मैं बचपन से. बट फिर वो it was just the need to like write songs. it's just sort of like you have this sense of like ownership. वो school में घूमोगे तो भी you feel like you're the cool kid. Like
Absolutely.
I write songs. Like there are other kids who play someone else's song, but I'm like, hey, I've written my own song. It was just that feeling. And then like, how do you let other people know, like your friends on Facebook know that, oh, I've written a song? You could either share that with them, but back then like it was like sending a song over like email was pretty difficult.
Very hefty files.
Yeah. So it was just like I learned like you could put stuff on YouTube and SoundCloud and all of these places.
Correct.
So I just slowly started like I used all of these free platforms to put out like versions of my songs and like in different places. So it was just that.
And what sort of feedback did you used to get back then for your songs? And from whom?
Back then, feedback was just my friends. They were like, oh, really nice.
Really nice.
Friends are usually like, because they're like, oh, someone's doing something and like, as long as it's something that they don't feel is uncool, they're going to support it.
And also, उस ज़माने में there was no social media also that, I mean, 2011 wasn't...
2011 was still like, it was
Facebook.
Early Facebook days.
Facebook days, correct.
Early Facebook, like people were spending a lot of time on BBM and all of that.
The LOLs
yeah.
and all of those things were quite happening. Those were the cool things to say back in then. तो वो तो जो terminology वगैरह जो है वो इतनी diversify develop नहीं हुई थी, right?
It was early YouTube era though. Like when like YouTube, like all of us were trying to figure out YouTube as a platform and what all you could do over there. So I was also trying to figure out the same thing around that.
Absolutely. So so it's like very nice. Very nice is the perfect thing. But यार आपके जो गाने हैं, अगर आप talking about the Hindustani classical influence also, I mean, I'm just telling you like before we started the interview that you have that पुराने फिल्मी हिंदी गानों का जो हिंदुस्तानी क्लासिकल जो एलिमेंट होता था, जैसे मोहम्मद रफ़ी के गाने, मन्ना डे के गाने, जो कि उस ज़माने में राग बेस गाने होते थे. आजकल तो राग बेस गाने बनते नहीं, ज़्यादातर कॉर्ड बेस गाने बनते या प्रो टूल्स बेस गाने बनते. Not making fun of anyone, just saying. Music has changed, it's evolved. So, but your songs are rag based?
So,
or they have influences of that?
They have influences of Hindustani music. As we were speaking earlier, I'm formally trained in tabla.
Okay.
So I've like when you're learning tabla, you're not learning rags, हम ताल सीखते हैं.
But उसमें वो discipline आ ही जाता है.
पर वो एक वो discipline आ जाता है और हम लोग को मतलब सुनते वक्त भी हम लोग को ऐसे बोला जाता था कि अरे ये राग बज रहा है, ये वो. तो उस that's what was happening like in my formal training. Like I was, whatever music I was listening to had Hindustani influences. तो वो बस like वो थोड़ा subconsciously मैं जब भी हिंदी में गाता हूँ कहीं ना कहीं से थोड़ा बहुत आ जाता है. Even if I try to keep it away, even if the song is not like doesn't need that small inflection in like that classical inflection, वो कहीं ना कहीं से आ जाता है because वो like वो brain थोड़ा वहाँ पे वैसा wired है. तो
डीएनए में हमारे हिंदुस्तानी म्यूजिक हमारे डीएनए में, और हम लोग उसको डिनाई नहीं कर सकते. नो मैटर हम लोग कितना भी इवॉल्व हो जाए, कितने भी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक एलिमेंट में आ जाए. बट आई एम जस्ट वेरी हैप्पी फॉर द फैक्ट दैट अ यंग गाय लाइक यू is staying true to the roots and giving the younger generation such sort of musical arrangement where there is no escape but to listen to that vocal bit that you are doing and keeping
Thank
it.
you, man.
So I'm just very happy personally, like really, and I'm an 80s kid, dude. Like just saying. But tell me something that like tabla तो एक चीज हो जाती है, but when you sing, that's a different skill. So whatever sounds that you have, whatever knowledge you have about Hindustani classical and all of that you used to emulate on the tabla, उसको vocally transform कैसे करते हो आप?
तो शुरुआत तो ऐसी है कि मतलब कोई भी चीज़ फॉर्मली सीखो ना, एक चीज़ इंस्ट्रूमेंट में, लाइक स्पेशली इंडियन क्लासिकल आर्ट फॉर्म में, बी इट हिंदुस्तानी और कार्नाटिक म्यूजिक, वो एक वो रेजिमेंटल या फॉर्मलाइज ट्रेनिंग ऑफ लाइक फिगरिंग आउट हाउ टू गेट टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल इट टीचेस यू. So for me, after I left playing tabla, for me to graduate to playing the guitar or like starting to sing was fairly easy because I knew that okay, you have to like these are the number of times you have to do something. Like what are the steps in perfecting like a certain thing, certain aspect of something. So it just got into like okay, it's cyclic. You have to keep doing it again and again and again and again and keep trying till you find like okay, this is the voice that works for me. like अभी वो singing में एक बात वो है कि there is one thing which is for you to sound good, for you to sound right, like singing the right notes and all of that. That is one aspect of it, but like the more important aspect of it is like what is your voice? What does your voice sound like when you're singing?
Right.
Which is what takes a lot longer. And like these two songs was where I tried out like a different aspect of my voice. And so बस वही ऐसा figure out ही कर रहा हूँ मैं
because
अभी भी.
knowing your voice is also I think a journey. You cannot
Yeah,
you just can't wake up one morning and say कि हाँ ये मेरा आवाज है, ये मेरा जोन है, मैं ऐसे गाने बनाऊंगा. वैसा नहीं होता है.
लोगों को लग जाता है यार 60-70 साल.
Exactly. नहीं यार तुम तो बहुत I think you're an early bird and you've cracked it really well and very soon, I must say. Tell me the influences that you had, like musical influences, because your music is so varied.
Yeah.
What are your influences like? Been in
starting off as a tabla student, I used to listen to Zakir Hussain CDs that were gifted to me by my teacher. Then it moved into like I was listening to like the odd Bollywood because like you can't avoid it.
Correct.
Then I was listening to everything like heavy metal, Iron Maiden, and like punk rock.
Green Day and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Green Day. Like I would go really deep into like bands like Sex Pistols and whatnot. Yeah. I would go there. Then I went into then like that whole phase of how like that entering of college. You're in this weird phase where people are either recommending you something like a Pink Floyd or old Mohammed Rafi songs.
Correct.
So I was basically accepting whatever is coming my way.
Right.
So. And like off late it has been a lot of like while recording these songs I was like I need to get like those that feel right. तो बस वो बहुत सारा मोहम्मद रफ़ी सुना, प्यासा के बहुत सारे गाने सुने. तो just so that you know what people were doing right at that time, क्योंकि वो सब गानों में कुछ तो वो लोग के performance में था, तो trying to sort of understand what they are doing over there.
Well, for starters, it was a one-take performance. By the way, all the songs that you listened from Pyasa,
yeah.
they were all with the live band recorded in one bloody take.
In real time, everyone together in the same space.
That's just incredible, isn't it? बात करके मेरे को goosebumps आ रहे हैं. बताओ यार.
Yeah.
But that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
But do you think I mean, you're still very young, and I feel as a radio jockey also, like, you know, when I talk to younger artists or musicians or people who love listening to music these days, I don't see the need for people to explore older music. Like back in the day, like you just mentioned, that, you know, people used to suggest you, Pink Floyd sun le, ya Metallica sun le, ya Beatles sun le, ya, you know, whatever, the older artists and all of that.
Yeah.
People don't do that anymore these days because they're all after the trending things.
I think it's like it depends on how you look at your whole creative process or like being like an artist, because like there's one side of it like there's art and craft. Like if like anything that you do you have to study.
Correct.
Like if you're like even even painters study, like they go and study, they go to places and they see what they research, what is happening. So like for me it's I like to sort of for me it's always interesting कि कोई artist अगर अच्छा लग गया है तो उसको बैठ के study what they're doing. Correct. And understanding what is it that they're doing right. It might be something very simple like how they're playing the guitar. Like Metallica had this habit of everything the guitar is playing, like everything's a downstroke. Correct. And how they mastered that. Similarly, how like how if you look at Mohammed Rafi, how he would do like go from these low notes to high notes and like, and how he may use it as an emotional device. Right. So that is very fascinating to me. Like it's sort of like it's a very academic way of looking at it also, but I look at it कि अच्छा इसमें से कुछ अगर मैं सीख पाऊँ, so then I can make use of it in what I'm doing. But
ये तो आप फिर भी एक artist के point of view से बोल रहे हो. Like what I was trying to say that like even as not being musicians also, there were a lot of people like there was this whole culture of exploring older music, which I feel is a little fading. Don't you feel that? Yeah.
It now you explore older music only if it becomes a reels trend.
Exactly, right.
Otherwise it's like
that one random person will make a reel out of it, like from somewhere, and a 15-year-old song will come in front of us in a form of reel, and then you go to the next one, then you go to the next one, then you go to the next one.
But you know, it was I think now the like even like before reels became a thing,
हाँ.
the exploration of old songs used to be through cover songs that were done by
Right.
like popular indie
Artists.
musicians.
Correct.
Like popular, like commercial indie musicians, when they would do these cover songs,
Cover songs.
like for a lot of people, Gulabi Aankhein was Atif Aslam.
Right. And then for some it was Sanam.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like, so that was their introduction to that, and then like like for me also it was like that, where I thought like Gulabi Aankhein was the Atif Aslam version, was the version. Then my mom, I made my mom listen to it, and she said, wait, you should.
Did she not punish you for saying that, dude?
She was like, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to the original one.
There is a different world out there, dude.
So it's just, I think it's like how we want to accept it. Like, I think when, like, that earlier phase when it was still a thing to explore older music, was because a lot of people who were elder to us, who used to introduce music to us, used to tell us that this is really cool and you should listen.
I am sharing you my playlist, dude, after this interview. And,
yeah.
And you share me yours. Okay, that's what we're going to do.
For sure.
But, Shashwat, a lot of people have written a lot of things about you. Some really amazing thing. Like Vice has written a thing about you, a piece for you. Do you think as an artist you've achieved that sort of success that you had dreamt of as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old putting out songs on SoundCloud?
I'm not really sure. I don't think so. It's like to be completely
क्या
honest.
बात कर रहा है यार, मत यार.
नहीं मैं सच कह रहा हूँ. To be completely honest, my like officially as official release cycle for my music has started in 2019, where I just started putting out music on Spotify and all of that. Maybe had the pandemic not have happened, it would have been somewhere else. But like after that 2019 cycle of touring and putting out songs, there was like a break of 3 years where like I also didn't feel like going out and performing. And the thing with like achievement and like being relevant is like you have to keep feeding your audience. Your audience needs to keep knowing that you're doing something, so that tomorrow when you put something big out, like they're there to back you.
Right.
Like I after the pandemic, I never got the opportunity to sort of engage with my audience that much. So this tour is again like sort of meeting them again. Like it's literally after 3 years that I'm in Bombay performing.
Right.
So it's like again introducing myself to them. Some of them might have forgotten, and so it's just that phase. Maybe like in a few years, but not yet.
Arre, yeah, very humble, but I'm sure you're on the right path. So tell me about your upcoming projects, about the tour, about any collabs that you're planning to do, any albums, EPs and stuff like that.
So to start off, I recorded my debut album. Like it's a full-length album which I recorded.
How many songs are going to be there?
10 songs.
Amazing. Again, a very, very nice thing for a young guy to do, that releasing album. For God's sake, thank you so much. Not an EP, not a single, but an album.
Yeah, it's like that album has been like 5 years in the making. So finally we got time last year. Like everything, all the stars aligned. Everyone that we wanted to work on it was there. So it finally happened last year, September. We're taking time to sort of get every small detail of it right before we put it out. So hopefully end of this year, early next year, we'll have some updates and some releases towards the album. That's going to happen. Otherwise, just I'm on tour till September.
Okay.
So now's the second leg, which starts like today is Bombay, tomorrow it goes to Hyderabad and then Bangalore. And then the final leg is in Delhi, Jaipur and Mohali.
Fantastic. And I think I'm just very happy that band wala setup bhi hai aur acoustic wala setup bhi hai, storytelling wala bhi angle hai. So a lot is going to happen, and I'm pretty sure that we'll meet more often now, especially when the album comes out. We have 10 songs to talk about, dude. A lot of work to be done for me as well. So yeah, looking forward to see you soon, man, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
All the best for your tour and all the best for everything that you do. And yeah, we're going to share our playlists once we are done.
For sure.
But thank you so much, bro.
Thank you so
all
much.
All the best, Shashwat. Thank you so much.